we go. All right. Hi, welcome back to Two Gals and a Glass Half Full. This is Dr. Jess and Dr. Bobby, and we're just two PTs trying to make healthy decisions in this crazy world.
So today we have with us Krista, and she is a mom of two girls and just starting her nursing career. But first, Jess, what is in your cup today?
Well, Dr. Bobby, today I have some bubbly water that's grapefruit flavored. So kind of helps me, again, stay hydrated, but give some flavor to the water. I like it. Dr. Bobby, what's in your glass?
Today is just plain old water. Some good hydration.
Nice and healthy.
Yes. So Krista, before you introduce yourself, what are you drinking?
I have my big jug of just fresh water. It's easy to keep it and carry it around, but then when my kids want to drink some, it's not flavored and they can drink it too.
Nice.
Go.
Are you able to drink that whole thing in one day?
In one day, I can. When I'm working, it's much easier to drink it in one day. When I'm not, I have to think and try really hard to make sure I can get through it. But because it's big and it's heavy, that usually motivates me to empty it and makes it lighter.
Make it lighter.
That is the barometer check. I do the same thing at work. I'll like pick up my water bottle and I'm like, this thing is still full. This is not okay. It is like past lunchtime. Like I've got to work on this.
Mine is I haven't ran to the bathroom yet. I haven't drank enough.
I like it.
So
Very nice.
Krista, we'll have you introduce who you are, what you do.
Hi, I'm Krista. I'm a nurse and a mom of two littles. There are two girls, they're 5 and 7. And just trying to tackle life and balancing work and kids and family and dogs. And oh my goodness, it's a work in progress for sure.
That's awesome. So, Krista, we invited you on the show because we just did an episode talking about exercise and this whole 150 minutes a week and how it's really, really important to incorporate it into our daily lives and our weekly schedules, but that it's sometimes really hard to get that done. And so we were kind of just talk to someone else that might be having some common struggles like we are and see maybe how you're going about that.
It is hard to get in struggles with kids' activities and work and, just balancing life. One of the easiest ones for me was that I started wearing my Apple Watch again, and trying to close my rings has been a big motivator to get me up and get me moving and get my heart rate going. So one of the easiest things for me is wearing the watch and then going out for a walk with the dogs and the kids. It gets the kids out, it gets me out, and then I'm able to monitor and just see my heart rate, even if it just goes up for a little bit for 20 to 25 minutes. And then I know when we come back to that, I got to do a little bit more. But yeah, that's the biggest one for me.
Do you ever find yourself when it says like, oh, you've been sitting for too long, like getting up to get that stand, doing some exercises to get that like the stand ring closed?
Very much. And that's one that's not too hard usually for me to get closed is the stand ring, but I will feel it vibrate. And that, it's the reminder of, oh, okay, get up and move. And especially on slower days where I'm not working or, I'm not running around with the kids in activities. So if I'm, just reading or studying, then it's a little bit more difficult. The exercise ring for me though, is one that's hard to close. And I realized, I do have to do a little bit more of a vigorous workout to get my exercise ring to close. And that has been helpful again with the phone. Then I do a workout app. And again, it's usually a 30 to 35 minute workout, but I can do it in home. So I don't have to take the time and the commitment to, drive to a gym and feel like I'm putting on a workout. I can do it right in the comfort of my own home.
Do you have a favorite app that you use, like a workout? Right
now I use the Nike workout app. And it helps because the different workouts that they have, they'll label, as beginner, intermediate, advanced, and whether I need weights or if it's just body weight or whether it's going to be more cardio or if it's high intensity. And so I can kind of pick, how much energy do I have this day or how much time do I have and what can I really put into the workout? So.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Bobby, what kind of apps do you use? Do you use any?
So there was one called like Fit On or something. And then during the pandemic, there was a really cool yoga and HIIT workout one, but they're not free anymore. And since as last week I said I joined yoga and pay for a trainer, I don't also want to pay for an app. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I've done a couple different apps and I find them to be definitely helpful. And I also find that I change the apps that I use because I'll get like a little bit tired of one and I'm like, like I like where that was going, but I feel like I've done that like for a couple months now. And so then I'll like change it up and then it helps me to like just kind of keep it a little bit more fresh. And then sometimes you just make a bad choice. And this one is terrible. Like,
Yeah.
but you know, like you win some, you lose some.
This is true.
Yeah. So then Krista, like what are other ways that you find like barriers with kiddos, for example? So like how are other ways that you are able to work through those barriers with having a couple kids?
So other than incorporating them, like on the walks, I try to use them kind of as motivators because they're signed up in all sorts of activities, gymnastics, for example. So
Mhm.
the barrier is here, I'm taking them to their activities, but then I'm just gonna, sit and watch them, which is great. I'm there to cheer for them and root them on, and
Yeah.
be that parent that's, all in with my kids and their activities. But then it's also, well, this is their activity. Now I also need to do something. So I try to, when they are at an activity, to also use that time, to then try to do a quick workout, whether it's, again, just outside in the parking lot doing laps around or, squats or just something while they're active. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
it's
I mean that
tough.
makes a lot of sense because like it's I feel like sometimes I'm like that crazy parent that's the one that's like doing planks or something, right? Like off to the
I was
side.
about to say, have you found any workout friends at their gymnastics place?
No, but there is one, and you know what? That what got me motivated. Is one of the dads I saw walking, and he still walks today when it's 20 degrees outside, and he's bundled up, but he's drops his daughter off. He watches for a little bit, and then he goes for a walk. And so I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's totally awesome. And then I heard that you had like a couple dogs too. So like, what does so dogs are like helpful, right? In that like they need to go for a walk, and so that's great. But then what are some of the other barriers with like having dogs?
So just with the cold, sometimes they don't always want to go for a walk in the cold. And we have a fenced in backyard. So it's also convenient to just open that door and let them go outside. And you don't have to do, the whole routine of putting the collars and the leashes on and taking them out. So it's twofold with the dogs because cold days, you're like, that's okay. Just one day or 2 days of not taking them for a walk, not a big deal. And then, like 5, 6 days, and you're like, oh, it's been a while since we've taken the dogs for a walk. So, and then it's nicer, in the summertime when the weather is nice to take them to dog parks and, to be able to get a little bit more outside that way. But yeah, it's tricky with the dogs.
So Bobby, what are some of the ways that you have worked in some exercise? Because you've got two dogs and they're big, and so I know they need activity.
They do. So, one thing I do is both of them have a little bit of health issues. One's getting up there in age, and so neither one right now are actually supposed to go on like long walks, and neither one can run or are supposed to. So one thing I do is I found a place that they go swimming. And so my one dog has to have a trainer with her when she swims because she won't swim otherwise. But my other one, I get to go and I get to not swim her, but run around. So when I'm playing with her, like I'll physically be running around the deck and like trying to get a little bit more activity in with them in that way. And then when it's nice again and they're hopefully healthier, I'll start taking them for walks and all of that. But
Yeah.
I am not a cold person. As I said last week, I am not going out in the cold.
Yeah, and it's hard,
Tough.
especially as they get
Yeah.
older. Like my dog was my running partner, and so this is the first year that we're not running together. And so even like on those nights where it was like cold and dark, I'd get home from work and she would just be like, "Let's do this." And
She
so
wouldn't
you're
let you
like,
sit down. She's like, it's time
"No,
for me to go.
she's like, "You've been gone all day. Let's go." And then this year, like she can't really run with me anymore. Just with arthritis and stuff. And so that's been part of one of my barriers. This winter has been so hard with it being dark and cold. And then her not like being my running partner and her not being able to run. I'm just like, this is such a bummer. But then I try and like, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to use the kids and say like, throw them in the strollers, wrap them in a blanket, give them a snack, and still get out there. But it's just it's tough when that accountability starts to change depending on which accountability partner you might have, which could be a dog. For me, it definitely was. So cool. So Chris, so like as far as like maybe some of the guilt that you feel with putting energy and effort into yourself, what are some of the ways that you try and acknowledge that, but then work past that?
So being in nursing, that's one of the things that we're constantly telling patients is, get up, be active, especially, right after surgery and then going home. It's just so beneficial and healthy, but then I feel guilty because I may not be doing what I'm preaching. So I try to remind myself that if I'm going to teach it and share it, then I also need to do it. So even if it's in the hospital, I'm going to walk laps around, then that's what I got to do to hold myself accountable to what I'm teaching and preaching and, what's proven to be healthy and work for you. So
that's my patients. I'll like share with my patients because I get to see my patients pretty regularly. And so I'll share like, oh, I'm going to work out. And like, I come back and they'll be like, how was the workout? And like, so it creates that accountability of like, what did you do today? Like they know I go with my personal trainer Wednesday, Friday morning. So I'll come in and they see me and they're on Wednesday. So what'd you do this morning? It's like, all right, I got to be able to tell them what I did, which means I have to go.
Right. And that's why part of me is I've thought, maybe I should, join a gym or have a personal trainer to be held more accountable. Like, well, now I'm paying this person, I feel like I should really go. But then that's where I've done in the past where I've had that guilt of, okay, well, I'm paying, but I'm not using the services. So, now what do I do? And it's tough. It's really tough to stick with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just finding that, again, that balance between finances, time, like presence with whoever's in your life, whether it's your kids or your patients or whatever it might be. And then also feeling like you're not just like, like talking the talk but not walking the walk. So yeah, it's tough, like to constantly be able to find that balance and know that it's okay that we didn't hit 150 minutes this week, right? Like I didn't last week. I got close, like I got pretty close, but like it was just like it was just two runs in the dark and it was just cold and I just cut it a little, I cut it a little bit and came in and I did stretch. Now that I did do, which I've been working at and trying to be better about my stretching. But even that is like, again, more time. So like I get the boys in the shower, right? And then I'll like have one in the shower and I put my yoga mat like outside the bathroom and then I'm stretching while one's showering. And then I try and get one to stretch with me, which is, somebody's crawling underneath me and, like staring up at my face if I'm like in down dog,
I'm sure that adds some laughs, some
it does.
Some endorphins from laughing.
Yes.
But like it's just like just trying to constantly say like, okay, like I didn't hit 150 minutes of cardio, but like I did stretch more this week. And I was present while I was stretching with my kids. So I'm going to take it as a win. It's a win. My glass is half full. Like next week, I'm going to try and hit 150 minutes. So.
Right. You move up from those little things like, okay, I ran twice last week. Maybe I can run 3 times this week. Like, just use what you had in the past and just go with it.
Yeah. Each of the little goals, right?
Right.
Yes. So one thing I always try to do is also like if I'm meeting with friends is to add some sort of like exercise into it. So instead of just going to grab drinks, dinners, like, hey, you want to try this new workout or hey, you want to go walking or, finding different ways with friends. So what are some things you guys do that are more active, but still social and you still get that adult interaction, that friend interaction, but it's not just sitting eating food?
As much as I love to go grab a coffee and just sit for a couple hours,
right? Like,
like it's good for the soul, but it's not necessarily good for, like my heart, my arteries and all that. But one of the things is going dancing. So I love to dance, any type of music, it's playing and, I start moving. And so, so going out dancing Friday nights, I started with a friend, social country dancing, and it's been a blast. So to get that social aspect, but to get up and get moving and, put myself in situations where I don't know the dance and I'm learning something new. So it's just an all around healthy environment, like you said, to do something different, but it is physically, exerting myself.
Now, does your heart rate, like, does your watch pick up that activity? Like, does it count towards that exercise? Have you noticed?
I have noticed it will count towards my exercise and my move goal, which has been, fantastic just to know that I'm having fun with what I'm doing, but it's also exercise. It's getting my heart rate up. And it may not be consistent, so it may just get my heart rate up for the 10 minutes that I'll do, 3 dances in a row. And then, it's relax, chit chat, talk to some other people. And, then another two upbeat songs come on, and there I am out on the dance floor getting my heart rate back up. So that one's a little bit easier of like the balance of it's exercise, but I'm still having fun.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
awesome.
like following the guidelines, they say while they prefer 30 straight minutes, like they say 10 minutes, 10 minutes is a-okay too. So, you're still getting
Right.
the
Oh
benefit.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
definitely.
like as far as research goes, like it's like anything above, just sitting and being sedentary is going to be a positive. Like that's in the positive realm. So like so absolutely getting social line dancing. I mean, there's more to it than just the cardio with something like that too. It's just like being able to have that connection with other people and be a different role in your life. Like you're not a professional, you're not a mom, like you're a friend. And
Right.
so like allowing yourself that time to be a friend and have a friend be a friend back to you is going to be like super important for that balance. So yeah, that's awesome.
It
Yeah,
is.
I don't line dance right now, but that's okay.
Well, I was going to say, if you don't, my sister, she is really into Latin dancing. And so that's been kind of interesting to watch her, watch
Absolutely.
different videos and make friends. And, as she's starting to learn and just watching her for 5 minutes, I'm like, that's you, like, you're really getting your heart rate up. And she will, when she
Hmm.
practices and she tries these new dances, it's, she's in workout clothes because she's getting such a workout. So part of me has been like, well, maybe I'll have to try, Latin dancing and see how much it keeps my heart rate up for 30 minutes, because I have a feeling it will. If she's in workout clothes and she's sweating by the end, then it's a good workout.
Yeah, it's a lot of footwork. I used to do salsa dancing when I lived in Chile, and we did it like I think it was like every Thursday night. They would have a class that would meet for like an hour or so, and then like they would have the live band that would come out, and it was like I mean legit. Like you'd have to put on more deodorant. I
Right.
mean, like
Yeah.
you were sweating. I mean,
You're using all
downing
the
like glasses
napkins to
of
wipe off the
water. Yeah,
sweat
like,
and
and I sweat, so like there's no way to look cool. Like you're just like drenched in sweat. Um, but that's okay. I mean, I don't typically look that cool anyway, so it's okay. I don't think it was the sweat that was the issue. So cool. So Krista, we really, really appreciate you coming on the show and talking about some of your struggles, some of the ways that you've been able to meet some of those struggles. I love the idea of using an Apple Watch. That's so great. And I know like sometimes I forget that I have it on and I'm running and it'll like buzz me and I'm like, oh yeah, count this, definitely count it.
right.
Yeah, like absolutely. I'm gonna turn back around and like make sure I restart it.
I get so mad when I forget to like start the exercise.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
dang it, it didn't.
Yes. I'm like, that was 10 minutes and it just didn't count. Oh no.
But yeah, like tying technology into it is like even that much better. It keeps it that much more fun and interesting, and that extra level of accountability. Which is totally great. So this week, so we talked about each week we're gonna have a challenge, and please definitely like post some of your results of our challenges on either our Facebook page, Instagram page, and we'll do our best to continue to get the conversation going about how we can all support each other. So this week, the challenge is that we're going to try and have at least one time this week that you exercise for 15 to 30 minutes at a moderate intense activity level,
Okay.
meaning you can have a conversation while you're doing it, but you're going to sustain that activity, whatever it might be, whether it's line dancing, walking, running, swimming, elliptical, a sports, doesn't matter, anything where the heart rate is elevated and sustained for 15 to 30 minutes. And tell us how you're doing with that. And then we'll see if we can all chime in and support each other.
Of course.
So,
No, that sounds great. Thank you.
yeah. And then Bobby,
Yes.
next week,
Yes.
do we have more of this? Is there more coming?
We do. We have one more. So we are actually going to get to interview my personal trainer.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
he's pretty awesome. He does personal training, very knowledgeable, and also has a small fitness studio. So
Yeah.
that'll be really fun and can bring a whole other side of things
That's
Let's
awesome.
tune
Conversation,
into
I guess.
that, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Sounds
see what he
great.
has to say. He's probably got some
Yeah.
great ideas. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Perfect. All right. Well, we will see you all next week.
signing off.
All right.
Bye.